camp been just the last couple of
Man,
weeks?
fall camp has been going great, man. I couldn't be more pleased with how hard the guys are working and the work they put in, the investment they made prior to getting to the moment of fall camp. You know, the off-season work they did with Smitty. You can tell their body tells a story of that. We have only one guy now that's under 300 pounds at defensive tackle, and when I first got here, you know, we had only one 300-pounder. So we flipped the script on that, man, and just put the work in. And this is Dom Williams on his second year here now, and Jaden Jackson on his second year here, David Stone on his second year here. So there's more familiarity with it, more familiar with the scheme. And so they're of course getting better, and the chemistry's there. So I couldn't be more pleased with the way they came in and they're ready to work.
You mentioned so many guys being back their second year, Dom, Jaden, Grayson. Just how much have you seen that continuity really build this fall camp?
Well, man, I believe that before you can be unblockable or unstoppable, you got to be inseparable, and you got to build that chemistry and that camaraderie. And so those guys, they go out to eat together all the time, and they spend, it's an acronym for team, together even after meetings. And they're together even after meetings. They're putting in the time together, and they know each other. So they fight harder for one another, and they understand the scheme better. And they not only now know what they're doing, they know why they're doing it, they know when we're going to do it, and they're working through that as a mindset of a coach. So that's been great to see. It's been great to see Marcus Strong come along too. Finally, getting everything going for him getting to the weight he needed to be, and just understanding the scheme. Been through some injuries and things like that, little hardships, and see how he fought adversity and ready to go when he got back. Just day one, step in, plug and play, can execute the scheme. And so I'm pleased with it, man. And Don Williams' leadership has just been, through the roof. And not just for our group, but for our whole team. And he's about the right things, but he really turned it up a notch. And so I'm excited to see that all come to fruition this season. All these guys, the work they're putting in, they're going to get the results they want.
Coach Bates, you recruit, bringing your whole family involved in it. Your guys get to know your family. Then as the season goes along, they're always around you and your girls and your family and everything else. Talk about that and how that benefits your group and your football team, that you and Miguel and so many coaches do that.
Well, man, that's our culture here. We have a family atmosphere. It's a championship environment, but a family atmosphere. And you want to show young men, what it's like to be a father, your hat, man, that you wear. And, you want that environment. You want to teach them the way you teach your kids and show them what that looks like, so that one day they can pass that on to their kids. But, man, that's been great in the recruits. That's not just a recruiting tactic, man. We live it. We're going on a decade together as a staff, Coach Miguel and Coach V and myself. Coach Hall, I was with him at Jacksonville State. So I know these guys intimately. So they're like family too. So we bring our family around, man. Our families know each other, and they hang together, and they go to birthday parties and over each other's house. So it's just a natural thing, man, whenever it's real. And I'll tell you, it's real here.
Coach, you mentioned at the coach's luncheon that you really thought that David Stone was close to a breakout. What's he done this month to kind of continue to get close to that?
He's just continued, man. Been a model of consistency, and the work he's put in. Your work, it'll show up and follow you like a shadow, man. It's whatever you do, your lack thereof, it's going to show. If you put it in, it's going to show. And he's putting it in like a coach. Like, I bet right now I'm doing this interview, he's going to be upstairs waiting on me in a second, wanting to watch tape. And then they got a 3:30 meeting to go to. So he does not take that downtime to go and take a nap like a regular player would. He wants to know right then, and he wants some feedback right then on, Coach, what am I doing wrong? Did you see what I do right? And he's asking for it. He's really craving coaching, man, and understanding. And he's actually the smartest player in the room.
You mentioned Dom Williams a little bit earlier. His second year in the system, we've heard a lot just about his leadership, taking a step forward. But for you, what are maybe the biggest differences from him a year ago to this?
Man, just he set out. You set a goal every day, every year. You set goals for yourself, and the things that you need to improve on. And his was vocal leadership and his pass rush ability, and just being more of a vertical player, getting up the field a little bit and jumping the ball. And he's done those things, and he attacked it day one to day right now, since the last second, ticked off the clock of the season. He's been about it, been very intentional about, pouring into the young Trent Wilsons of the room and making sure that they know what to expect and that they meet the standard. And he holds it up here. He's he was already a leader by example, man. The Lord showed him how to use his voice this offseason. It's been amazing to see.
It seemed like when you guys got here, one of the main, priorities was to get this D-line to be SEC ready. Can you talk about just that process and where it is now versus where it was when you guys first came here?
Well, man, I tell you, like I said earlier, we had only one 300-pounder in the room, and I believe I was the heaviest in the room when I first got here. Well, that ain't the case anymore. We got Jaden Jackson and Dom Williams, both of them well over 320, 325, 330-ish even, and, guys that carry it well. And, but I know all about those trenches, having played in the SEC. I played at Alabama, and just remember week in and week out the physicality that it takes, and that's a demand, and either you meet that demand or you get exposed. And if you're ready for that moment, you gain exposure, and that's what we've been doing since day one, just building, stacking days, and getting our guys right. Smitty, we couldn't do it without him. Couldn't do it without Coach V putting the right emphasis on it every day, and then you got to give these guys credit. You tell them, you give them a direction. All right, you set a plan out for them, man, and they follow it to a T. And I'm just very pleased with that group.
How does this group and some of the talent you have compared to what you guys coached at Clemson?
It's very comparable. We still got to go do it on Saturdays, but it's very comparable. We've built it the right way. Coach V and us, man, we've had the blueprint and of what that looks like, and we've just followed it humbly. Took the pieces we had, did the best we could with what we had as we got here. And then we went out and we just kept adding pieces. And people were attracted to it because they are attracted to the scheme that we have. We're very versatile, very aggressive, and we've led the country in sacks and tackles for loss under Coach V, and for a long time. And those guys, they see that, they want to be a part of that sack culture, that tackle for loss culture that we have, where we're being aggressive and you get to pin your ears back and go get the quarterback.
Coach, they always talk about in the offensive line how everybody's got to be together and it's got to be one unit. To me, to watch you guys, the way you guys play, you guys need to be together too. Talk about you with the defensive ends and how that's coming together. Man,
that's coming together because they're part of that camaraderie that I talked about earlier. You look in when you're lined up at DT. If you look in, you see your inside brother. Right. But if you look out, you got your brother outside too. That's part of that D line, and you each are building the wall. So when you're playing the run, you're building the wall, trying to stone the run. And that chemistry is just like a quarterback and a receiver. When you're running stunts, you expect guys to be on time with the stunts. You expect guys to be on time jumping the ball. And you expect guys to, whenever they're on top of the block, they're flushing them to you. Everything works together. You may get a flush, you may get a pressure, you may get a sack off what your brother does and him understanding where you're going to be. And that's that chemistry. That has to come over time, and that's why you're seeing it now. You got Grayson and R. Mason, who are fourth-year guys now in the system, and then you got Don Williams, second guy in the system. But they've been working together with the defensive ends here, and they know how to talk to each other and how to communicate. If they didn't get a call, that way you can still savor the moment and save the play from being a negative play.
What have you noticed, just the competition in your room, but also those guys going against the offensive line?
Oh, man.
The competition for the last couple of weeks.
It's been iron sharpen iron. And, sometimes sparks fly, and you love that. You grow from that. And but you bring your best foot forward, or they're going to beat you. Our offensive line, we got guys over there that can play. And we got guys on the D-line that can play. So you got a friction going on, a positive friction, a give and take, a push and pull, a punch and punch back type of deal going on every day. And that's what you want, because that's what the season's going to be. Can you take a punch and can you give one?
Coach Venables mentioned the other day that Dom was named a team captain. That's quite a jump for him. But, he admitted he's not much of a talker, but I know he's become more of a talker here. But talk about that and what that means for him and his future.
Well, man, I'm thrilled for him because, like I said, all summer, man, all he did was he was out front and leading from the front. When the war is going on, you're on the front lines. That's where the leaders are, and that's what he was doing out here with Smitty in the hot weather all summer. And in the spring, he did the same thing. And he got outside of his comfort zone. That's what it takes. You got to be vulnerable in moments where you're used to probably not saying nothing and just doing the best you can and being a leader by example. All right, now you put a little bit more emphasis on it when you use your voice. And when you're doing it like he's done it all year, it holds weight, and your teammates will follow you, and he's worthy to follow. You lost Danny and Billy as leaders, but with Dom and
whoever else you feel like. How good of leaders do you have on this defensive team this year?
Man, we got great leadership. You know, be it Don Williams, Grayson Halton, or Mason Thomas. You got Kobe McKenzie. You got K5 jumping in and coming in from that other school down the road. And then you got RSJ, Robert Spears Jennings. Those guys, they show up and they work. And, you know, you got Gentry Williams, guys that show up and just do their job. And they're ready to go every time. And they're fun to work with when it's like that. And we've built that culture that way. And they uphold it. They defend the standard every day.
One of the guys we haven't asked you about is Jaden Jackson coming into his second season. Just what impressed you the most maybe about just his first year here, and where has he maybe grown the most since a year ago?
Just how ready to play he was. And, you know, some of the things he's grown, man. He's grown on how he gets off the ball and in his pass rush. He was already just stuffing the run. And, you know, we've gotten him to where he's playing with more length and being able to shed blocks more violently and be even more of a dominant force in the middle. You know, you challenge those guys to be violent on their escapes and finish in a dominant position. And a dominant position for a defensive tackle sometimes is knocking the double team back, knocking the drive man back. And he's getting in that position constantly, and he's comfortable there in adversity.
Thanks, Coach.
Yes, sir.